What if I told you that your entire future, your income, your confidence, your health, your success, and even your identity as a person is being decided not by luck, not by talent, not by opportunity, but by just one invisible hour in your day that you are either respecting or wasting? And the most terrifying part is this: you already have it every single day without exception, 24 hours like everyone else. Yet somehow your life is not moving the way you want, not because you lack time, but because you are surrendering that one powerful hour to distractions, fear, delay, and unconscious habits that are silently shaping your entire destiny. And today, in this deeply eye-opening and uncomfortable journey, you are going to discover the truth behind what I call the 1 hour rule, the hidden law of transformation, inspired by timeless productivity psychology, behavioral science, and real human success patterns that no one talks about in this raw form. Because once you truly understand it, you will never look at your day the same way again. And I warn you, by the end of this, you may feel a strange mix of fear, regret, and unstoppable motivation, because you will realize how close you already are to the life you want, and how far you've been pulling yourself away from it every single day without noticing it. So let's begin, not with comfort, but with truth. Imagine this for a second. You wake up 5 years from now. You look at your life and everything is different. Your skills are sharp. Your confidence is unshakable. Your body feels alive. Your mind is focused. Your bank account reflects discipline. And people around you treat you differently. They respect you. They listen to you. They follow your ideas. And then you ask yourself one question: what changed? And the shocking answer is not a miracle, not a sudden opportunity, not a lucky break. It was something so small that your present self is almost ignoring it right now. Just one focused hour every single day that quietly rewired your brain, rebuilt your habits, and reshaped your identity from the inside out. But before we go deeper into how that 1 hour creates this transformation, you must first understand the silent enemy that is destroying most people's lives. Not failure, not lack of intelligence, but something far more dangerous: unconscious time leakage. The modern human does not lose time in big chunks anymore. They lose it in fragments, small, invisible cracks in the day that feel harmless but compound into years of lost potential. You wake up and check your phone just for a minute, and suddenly 40 minutes are gone. You sit down to focus, but your attention keeps jumping like a broken signal. Messages, reels, notifications, thoughts, worries, and before you know it, the day has already started controlling you instead of you controlling it. And this is where the real tragedy begins. Not that people are busy, but that people are busy being distracted.
And in that distraction, the most important part of their life silently disappears: their growth hour. The hour that could have made them skilled, dangerous in a positive way, financially independent, mentally strong, and emotionally stable, disappears into noise. And the mind doesn't even register the loss, because distraction is addictive. It feels like relaxation, but it is actually slow decay. And this is where the concept of the 1 hour rule becomes not just useful, but urgent. Because this rule is brutally simple, yet extremely powerful. If you can control just 1 hour of your day with full focus, full intention, and full discipline, you can slowly rebuild everything else that you think is broken in your life. But here's the uncomfortable truth most people don't want to accept. The 1 hour is not difficult because of time. It is difficult because of resistance. Your mind will fight it. Your habits will reject it. Your comfort zone will defend itself like a fortress, because deep work feels threatening to a distracted brain. Silence feels uncomfortable to a noisy mind, and focus feels painful to someone addicted to stimulation. And so every day becomes a negotiation between your potential and your comfort. And most people choose comfort without even realizing they're making a choice. But what if you stopped negotiating? What if instead of asking, "Do I feel like doing it?" you asked, "Who am I becoming if I don't?" because this is where identity begins to shift, not with motivation, but with repetition, not with inspiration, but with structure. And this is the first secret hidden inside the 1-hour rule. Transformation does not require massive effort, it requires consistent direction. Imagine pouring a single drop of water in the same place every day. Nothing happens on day 1. Nothing happens on day 10. Nothing visible happens even on day 30. But somewhere along the line, pressure builds, patterns form, depth is created, and suddenly what looked impossible becomes inevitable. This is exactly how one focused hour works on your life. It does not scream change, it whispers it, quietly, invisibly, until one day you wake up and realize you are no longer the same person who started. And now comes the second uncomfortable truth. Most people overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can become in a year. They chase intensity instead of consistency. They want transformation in a week, mastery in a month, success in a shortcut. But reality does not negotiate with impatience. Reality responds to accumulation, to repetition, to compounding effort that builds layer upon layer of skill, discipline, and mental strength. And this is where the 1-hour rule becomes almost mathematical in its power. Because 1 hour every day is not just 1 hour, it is 365 hours in a year. And 365 hours of focused learning in a single direction is enough to place you in the top tier of competence in almost any skill you choose if used correctly. And yet, most people never reach even 50 hours of true focused work in anything because their attention is scattered across too many directions. And here is where fear quietly enters the story, because once you understand this, you cannot unsee it. You realize you are not far from your dream because it is unreachable. You are far because you are unfocused. And that realization can either paralyze you or awaken you. And the difference between those two reactions will decide everything that happens next in your life.